How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys your full moon horoscope for Scorpios. Hello. Oh, Scorpios. This is a pretty big full moon for you guys. We have the sun in Scorpio, Venus is retrograde in Scorpio, Mercury's in Scorpio, Jupiter's in Scorpio. There's a lot going on for you guys. This is all in your first house of personality, your sense of self, who you are. With the sun being right there, you're starting to have that natural expression, or if you're a Scorpio sun, it's your birthday coming up. Venus is retrograde right now in Scorpio in your first house, so it's kind of like you're really having to kind of being forced to change a lot of who you are, not necessarily for anyone else, but more for yourself. Kind of like condensing down the value in who you are and being able to have, it's kind of like rather than having a bunch of spread out energy, having very concentrated energy for yourself. Mercury and Jupiter are here right now too. So a lot of this year has been, I wouldn't necessarily say amazing and great, but with Jupiter in your first house, it's been pretty okay for the most part. With Mercury being right there though, you're really starting to analyze in detail, like, what have you experienced this year? What's kind of going on in X, Y, and Z? Now, this full moon though is happening in your 7th house. And this is when it gets a little bit crazy, because Uranus just entered you guys' 7th house. It's been there for a little while now, so you guys have had a pretty good flavor of that. Uranus is, liberation, excitement, freedom, extreme ups and downs, explosions, randomness. And as Uranus enters your 7th house, it's kind of like the people, the one-on-one relationships that you have in your life can be explosive, can have a lot of change. And with Uranus being in Taurus, where we are talking about Venus, and Venus is retrograde in Scorpio, you've probably had to really get out of your comfort zone in order to have a better expression of yourself with the people that you relate to in your life. Now, with the moon being, like with this full moon in Taurus, it's going to enter Taurus, it's going to conjunct Uranus, basically be full at that point. And this is going to be a big highlight of what other people are, how other people are manifesting in your life. It's the extreme ups and downs where, Taurus rules your 7th house. You want someone that's calm, stable, secure. Uranus right there, I wouldn't necessarily say is bringing that, but it's just extremely saturated. It's, either extremely secure and stable and almost boring, or it's just like there's no stability, there's no security, and it's too much. And as the moon conjuncts Uranus, this is going to be a really big time to realize, what are the other people in your life bringing to you? And what do you have to change about yourself in order not necessarily to relate to these other people, but to have a better expression of who you are with these people? And as the moon moves over another degree and it's a full moon, we have Venus right here, we have Uranus right there. This is going to be a lot about what do you value about yourself and where are you willing to let go of control, surrender to the process, to really open up your sense of self and to really, again, condense that energy, that value of who you are and express it in a very acute and a specific way. This full moon is just basically about, hey, if you want to have more love being brought to you, more self-love being brought to you, how can you relate that to other people? How can you give that to other people? And how can you really get out of your comfort zone in order to get that? Now, the other thing too is this full moon is trining Saturn as well. Venus is going to be sextiling Saturn exactly. And Saturn's in your guys' 3rd house, where the first house is kind of like who you are, the 2nd house is what you have, the 3rd house is kind of like how you use it or who's around you to help you. Now, with Saturn being in this 3rd house spot, a lot of this has to come down to disciplining yourself on doing things, on like really utilizing what you have and being able to make concrete results with it. So as this full moon is trining Saturn and Venus is sextiling Saturn, this is a big time to kind of like have that self-discipline to be able to move forward and do something new, do something that's going to give you those concrete results that you're looking for in your life. Because with Venus retrograding in your 1st house right now, you're having a big realization and almost like revaluing who you are, revaluing what you're wanting to look at in this world, revaluing how you see everything and how you see yourself. And as this full moon happens, it comes back down to, well, who's around you? What do you need to give? What do you want to give to other people, and how can other people give to you? And it's just really about how can you utilize yourself the best and do things in a very strict Saturn way, kind of like getting shit done, being not necessarily detached, but focused on business. It's kind of Saturn and Capricorn. It's kind of like business is business. You just got to do what you got to do. And with Saturn being in your 3rd house, where it's about doing something, where it's about creating results, it's about really utilizing things. this is a big time to really utilize that, Venus retrograde stuff. What have you been learning about yourself? What have you been experiencing when it comes to really focusing on yourself and kind of, again, condensing that energy down? So with this full moon, really realize what's kind of going on with the other people in your life. What are they bringing to you? What's the chaos and the extremes of it? With Uranus right there, it's kind of like other people, again, ups and downs, big ups and downs, who knows what's going on. It comes back down to, what do you need to do about yourself in order to have these more stable relationships? So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, and I'll be seeing you for your November horoscope.